I'm well. Are you Noah?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm guessing you're Ciara?
Yeah.
Okay.
How can I help you today?
So I wanted to get a tattoo, and I haven't gotten one yet, so I'm a little worried, kind of nervous. I don't have a very high pain tolerance, so the tattoo that I was thinking of getting, I wanted to get it on my ribs, but I've heard that can be kind of like a painful spot. What's kind of like the pain rating, like 1 out of 10?
Sure. So as far as pain, ribs are pretty high up there. Ribs are a tough spot. Same with the chest. Those are going to be a little, on the tough side. If you're trying to avoid pain, I would stick with the forearm, the shoulder, just the outsides of your arm in general, the front of your thighs, if you wanted to go that route.
I'm not really in front of the thighs.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little
Makes
bit more
sense.
feminine.
I think those are all on the less painful side, but they make numbing cream if you are really adamant about getting it somewhere, like if having it on the chest would mean something to you, like if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Numbing cream's an extra $20 charge, but it does take
Does
away
it-
most of the pain. It does not make it painless, but it does take that sting off for the first couple
So
hours.
say I wanted to do it on my chest.
Okay.
Is the chest better than the ribs, or are they kind of equally as painful?
I'm gonna say the chest is a little bit less painful than the ribs, just as from what I've experienced from the tattoos that I've done. I typically have clients feeling more pain when I'm
From the
working on
ribs.
their ribs rather than their chest.
Is there a reason why in particular? Like
the ribs is a very sensitive area. Also, you've got all those bones right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
in between, the ribs being so hard, and you can kind of feel that.
Yeah.
That
makes
skin is
sense.
also very sensitive because you don't really use your ribs for anything. It's not as sturdy as your forearms would be.
So the design that I was kind of looking at was, I was seeing either like a panther or a lion, like the head of one with like a whole bunch of floral around it, and maybe like some sort of other, tattoo filler stuff that looks cool. You know what I mean? But I was thinking like if I do it on my chest, I kind of want it to be like either dead center, like a centerpiece, and have it pretty big, or like to one side but still pretty large. If it was like 8 inches or so long, or like height wise, however you measure that, how many sessions do you think that would be? And I do want it to be kind of detailed. Like I don't want it to look like cartoony.
For sure. I guess it kind of depends on if you're wanting the topical,
Yeah, no, I definitely
It
want
might
it
take more sessions than it normally would, but typically a tattoo of that size could be done in one session if you're willing to sit through the full 8 hours.
Okay.
But
So we're looking at like
I would
8
say
hours.
in your case you're probably wanting to do it in 2 just for the numbing cream.
Okay.
But as far as location, if you ever plan on getting something else on to take up your chest, I would center it so that you could work around the panther's head or lion or whichever route you choose to go. Versus if you're going and putting it on one side, you either would have to leave it as a standalone or trying to find something that makes sense or symmetrical on the other side.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you center it, you have the opportunity to kind of make a full piece on the rest of your chest, and you can have a cohesive idea going on.
So what would be a good surrounding piece for that? Like say we go with the center, and the head is like, would 4 inches work? Do you think that would be a good size?
Yeah, I mean, it's
for
hard
like
to
just
tell
the face?
being across the table, but
Sure.
whenever we wait to measure it, I think doing either 4 inches or 5 inches just in the center.
Okay.
And I know you said you wanted to do floral around it.
Or whatever looks good. I was thinking floral.
I think floral's a good option.
Okay.
I think it's a very organic feel. I think it could help bring out the panther, and I do think it will take up a good amount of that chest space. And with floral designs, you can kind of run them up, run them out to the side. Like, they are just good with space.
It's very manageable.
Yes.
Okay. Do
but
you
I
have
see-
any like floral patterns I could look at?
Yeah, I do. So this is actually my portfolio if you want to look at that.
Okay.
And so some of those in there I have never done before, and some of those I have done.
Okay.
So if you see something that's a photo that's on somebody's body, I've already done it, but if you like the way it looks, I can rework it to a customized design just for you. That way you're not wearing somebody else's piece.
So I like how you did some of these roses. What would be good to go with that? Like, would I do more flowers or do more like leafy kind of stuff? Because I don't want it to be like only roses, or like, I feel like that's kind of weird.
You could do the roses. You could do with the vines and the stems. You could put thorns on it if you want to.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Throw some leaves in there, or I mean, you can tell me like how much of what you want to see. So if you want a couple roses, but predominantly leaves and vines.
I just didn't want it to be like a Valentine's Day bouquet around a panther.
Yeah, no. I mean, I would definitely try to include thorns. I think that is like a more masculine thing, and I think they just look cool when you see them in a tattoo. But I would probably place the roses sporadically on the other sides of your chest, and just throw in a good amount of vines and leaves to kind of sit behind that.
Okay, cool. What do you think the pricing is going to look like roughly? I mean, I know we haven't mapped everything out, but if I do color, the numbing cream, 2 sessions.
When you think about the size in your head, what are you thinking?
I mean, a good portion of my chest. You know, I want it to be like a centerpiece if we're doing a dead center. You know. So
I say if you're wanting it to take up majority of your chest, like going onto each side of the pec and centering at the sternum, you're probably looking at anywhere around $600 to $800. It kind of depends on once the design is all drawn up. And I can see how much detail is going into it, and obviously doing it in color is a little bit more than doing it in black and white. But if it's something that you're really set about, that's the price it's going to be.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I did have a couple questions about like the more technical side of things, I guess. So as far as like the healing process, I'm very athletic. I do a lot of like hiking, swimming, stuff like that. So I'm just curious. I'm assuming I can't like immediately get back to all of that right after.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once you get the tattoo, you do have to take very good care of it, or else it's not going to heal, right?
Okay.
So once it's done, you do have to wait until it's healed before you're getting in pools of water. So swimming, lakes, whatever, that kind of thing. And that's going to take anywhere from like 2 to 3 weeks. It kind of just depends on your skin.
What about like biking, like non-water related stuff?
So
is that still kind of hit or miss?
You kind of have to be careful. So within the first 2 or 3 days, your chest is probably going to be a little bit sore, and you may not want to do crazy amounts of pull-ups or anything like that. But just make sure that you're keeping it clean. So if you do go to the gym on day 3 or 4, when you get home, it needs to be washed with an antibacterial soap, and you need to put that Aquaphor on it. And you need to do...
What is Aquaphor?
Aquaphor...
Like water in the ground?
So it's basically... it's an ointment that you're going to keep on your tattoo that keeps it moisturized, and it's going to keep it from drying out too fast. Because the way the tattoo is going to work is once you get it, it's going to start to dry out, and if it dries out too quickly, it's going to push all that ink out, and you're going to start itching it, and it's just going to fall off.
Yeah, I'm bad about that.
And you're going to have spotty, weird looking tattoos. So you want to keep that Aquaphor on it, keep it moisturized, and when it itches, light pats.
Okay.
So don't come at it with your nails, because if you're tearing that skin off before it's ready to flake off and peel on its own, you will cause damage to the tattoo. So you do have to be very careful about it.
Probably my last question is infection, because I've known a couple people who've gotten tattoos, and granted most of them weren't from like licensed artists, but theirs got infected, and 1, it sounded really painful, and 2, the tattoo ended up looking like god awful.
Right.
So what are the chances of that? What can I do to prevent that? Like,
tattoos can get infected in different ways. If you have a tattoo artist that's not doing their job appropriately, that can easily cause an infection to your tattoo. But I can guarantee you that here everything is going to be sanitary. Everything's going to be correct. Do not have any concerns about that.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much.
It was nice
I will talk to you soon. Thanks.
Have a good one.
Yeah. Bye.